just going to press record because I had what I wanted to say. I didn't write anything down, which I should have. I should have had my cigarette this morning too. But I totally lost it. It went in and went out. It'll come back. It will come back. But since I'm here, let's just say good morning. It is April something. I think it's Saturday. What day is it? I'm horrible at it. Okay, April 27th, 2024. At like 12 something in the morning. Let me just pack on. Maybe I'll edit this. I don't know. I'm not very technical. I'm going to start taking some classes to do this a little better because I'm quite sure I've done fucked up. I mean, I know I fucked up. I'm a little bit emotional. I am very fucking thankful. At the same time, I don't know why I got saved in that aspect. I mean, it's not maybe just saved for later because I'm quite sure it's not done yet. Or just let loose so I can continue dry snitching without knowledge, or being an unpaid informant without permission by me to be an informant, just because the law is the law. But when you notice that people can come to America on vacation, I mean, honestly, it's super expensive to come here. I've traveled enough as it is. Like, it is expensive to travel. And if you are of a certain economic class, you're probably never getting out of your country. Not because they kept you hostage, it's just because you can't afford it. It's a blessing if you get to go on a vacation someday and see somewhere new. In the larger spectrum of things, people that actually get to go in somewhere, they're usually of a certain class. And at least 50 years ago, it was easier. People actually did get to travel or go abroad. Education was primarily not teaching you how to lie, cheat, and steal legally from your own country on top of that, and sell your own shit out. Okay. I'm not perfect. Far from it. On paper, I look like a fucking loser. I do. I've worked in a restaurant most of my life. Nothing special. I mean, I'm not even smart enough to be a really good criminal. Like, nor do I want to be. I'm a I don't believe in, like, stealing and hurting people. And, I mean, yeah, there's drugs. That's a whole nother thing. I can't deal drugs. I'd be horrible at it. I'm super jackable. I mean, I take a punch like a girl. One hit and I'm done. Yeah, not very good at it. And I don't necessarily, okay, I've partaken in them, so I can't say I don't support them, because technically I do. Not in the way that they're good for you, but it is not a fucking very little secret that sex, drugs, and rock and roll are what sells in America. And I don't want to be a whore. I've been treated like one, and I get sick of it. Just because, like, no, I do believe in love and commitment and all that stuff. I mean, in my 20s, when I wasn't trying to have any of that, it was a different thing. I'm like, I just want to fucking figure out life. And it became like, people kept coming towards me like I was a revolving door. And I caught the cycle. I'm like, wait a minute, dude. I go out of my way not to fuck with this, and here it just keeps coming. Like, somebody's hacking my hard drive on my phone placing ads, and then it almost becomes like a CB GPS tag of what kind of bitch you could knock. So it's like a CB hunting game to knock bitches digitally, not only sexually, to steal their phone data, start knocking their friends, family, all for a computer company or a software company somewhere in Silicon Valley, so they can strong arm people out of their homes. Older people mainly, like they will come for your grandparents, all your digital, whatever, because they think they're God. And the only reason why I'm saying this is the fucking weirdest conversation I had when I actually did live in Belmont, California, South San Francisco area, tech world in California. I was working as a waitress, first off, and there's a bar next door to this Burmese restaurant, I went and had like a drink after work. My roommate, this is a friend that I had from up North California, more of the North Bay, Santa Rosa area, moved down there. He had, he went through some shit, ended up in this house. It's a long story, but he needed a roommate. I just happened to be down in town. A friend of mine got out of jail because I'm pretty sure that digital stalking was part of that and their identity theft and shit like that. And he got set up. His son's in jail for life, by the way. I just remember I went to go and visit him, and like the second I left, like his whole house got raided. Like his baby mama set him up and all this shit. It was a big mess. I had nothing to do with it. But coincidentally, for somebody that doesn't believe in coincidences, that was weird. I mean, I didn't even know it happened until a couple of years later, and his friend ended up getting a hold of me. He was like, dude, Mel's in jail. I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm like, holy shit, So once he got out, like I did visit him. I was like the first person to go down and see him. I care very much for him. Granted, he likes to dang-a-lang slang his badang-a-lang. Like, he's got a nice dang-dang. Bitches stalk him, too. And I'm probably not his type. I'm pretty sure he thinks I'm a little bit crazy, but he still likes to fuck. And he'll sell me out, too, for his family. Like, it just is. That's just how people are nowadays, so I'm not going to get all upset about it. I still want the best for him. Because he works hard. He takes care of his kids. He's a good dad. Not the best boyfriend, and he doesn't want to be married, so he's not husband material. Even though every bitch wants to trap his shalong donger. Because he's a great guy. Anyway, back to this conversation I had. I was just at the bar after work, having a drink before I went home. All within like a few blocks of where I worked, live, all this stuff. I didn't even have to drive, so it's not like I was getting drunk and being irresponsible. This dude and this girl are sitting at the bar, and like they start having a conversation with me, right? And apparently they're like some big techie people, because like these tech people I can see in the background, like they have different teams. There's this side and there's that side, right? And like the people I know, which either worked with me or knew somebody that like I worked with that are from there, because I was not from there. I really didn't know anybody. It made me no difference. I'm just a friendly person. Whatever conversation, basically, like, motherfucker explained, him and his little girlfriend, like, how they're trying to fuck people out of their homes. I more or less called him the devil. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, honestly, people like you do tend to win a lot. I hope that's not the case. Because you're overprivileged, underdeveloped little fucking fucktards that just think, oh, because you got it good now, it's going to stay like that forever. While you're taking shit from people, don't think karma's not going to come and get you. It might take a while. It might even take a couple lifetimes. But anyone in your lineage, if you decide to make children, they will have your karma attached to them. There will be generational curses attached to your fucking lineage. I hope there is. And even if there isn't, I hope you don't make it out of this life easy. you think you can. Because you press buttons on a keyboard and you stalk people's freaking data, because now everybody carries a phone. They made it way easier for you to take all their shit, because they put all their shit in easily takeable programs. And the only people that know how to hack shit are the people that made the programs to hack shit. They go to school to do that. Like, I do not trust computers. I just don't. And now with digital technology, you can basically make a freaking hologram. After living in San Francisco, and you want to know how much people invested in holographic technology, AI, you've invested so much so people don't have to do any work to keep you fucking lazy, uninformed. And one who sponsors that? The elite. Every elite rich motherfucker around the world. Because they want to keep us dumb. They still have the power, control the banks, control the resources. You're just basically getting paid an okay amount of money and to be happy and successful to basically screw over anybody but the 1% in control. Because it's hard. Nobody wants to actually oh, they're gonna not like that, or they're gonna, who are they? They are the they. Just like she is the she. Everybody's like, oh, well, she know, who is she? Does she have a name, or is it all she's? We can call women, as in a collective of all of us, the feminine energy, the divine feminine energy, which, by the way, is black, represents the color of femininity. White represents the color of masculinity in the Native American medicine wheel. Let's get that straight. So when they're looking for dark matter, you think the devil's in the earth. The earth is a woman. We have been brainwashed to demonize femininity or women as either witches, demons, dark matter, scary, black hats, cults of all colors. It's not just the skin color, because skin color has nothing to do with it. And the word nigger, excuse that word, isn't made to cut down black people or a black man. It means black, divine, feminine energy. Honestly, if you're a man and you're black, you do not even qualify for that word. They've dumbed you down so much you don't know what that actually stands for. But just because you're a black person does not mean you are in divine feminine energy. Or of any pigment color. You can be divine feminine as white as I am. And divine masculine is white. And by the way, those two colors are shades. Like human. 7 shades of man and woman. You're 7 shades below God instead of right under him when you take the word human. I mean, it's just a word. We have to have words for things. But once you know the meanings and you don't take your title, which is man, woman, under God, even if God is imaginary. It was so imaginary they wrote their laws that we actually have to abide by parallel to the laws of God. So it can't be that imaginary. Even if they did make it up, they still wrote courts of law. With different pillars depending on your economic status. No matter what color you are. You only get loopholes if you're controlling parts of the world, like Trump. Honestly, or Biden, or anybody that can be elected to president got away with so much fucking fuck shit, they figured they'd let him take the fucking hot seat. Any of the presidents. All the way back till Abraham Lincoln. That might have been the first one that got assassinated. Because he let the bean counters in. The Civil War wasn't a war. It was a North versus South militia fight against fucking business owners. The government wasn't even involved. They had, but that war did not, since our government was very fucking new, very fucking new, and we just freed ourselves from the crown, that was their way to get back in. They supported us because when we wrote the Constitution to free us from England, there were parts in that agreement where if there was a crisis or emergency, they would help us out, aka our territorial government and oh, what was the other one? The municipal government. That is what the two branches that we knocked out during the Civil War, we need to establish back for ourselves and stop feeding off them because they are subcontracted governments that have been dumbing the people down since it's a long strategy. Taking over the world does not happen in 7 days or even a decade. It might take hundreds of years. And if you know anything about like humanities and the studies of like nations and how they rise and fall, 300 years is pretty much the average. If you have a country, it's a lot to last over 300 years. There's only, I think, probably England and China, and maybe Russia. Oh no, Russia's like fallen. Russia has its own problems. But like China and Russia, or China and England, I think those are the two main ones that have stood for over 300 years. I mean, there's different little parts, or, you know, I could be wrong, but in the main group of like chunks of land. They were here before us. But now that other countries think they own us behind our backs through software, and it's mainly the Middle East. I've been followed around by, looked like homeless Middle Eastern. Honestly, I'm pretty sure it was a cartel. Being it's what my job, depending on what my job was at that point. But this was most recently when I was in Oregon. And this motherfucker's sitting here muttering, and he's on a little slot machine because that's what they have for their California lottos that take all the people's money for the lotto for the state. So they can leave you homeless and then like overcharge you for everything and stalk you and basically know that you're a fucking piece of shit that likes to gamble instead of having political meetings in a bar like the politicians of that fucking state or the fat dumb bitches that want to fucking cancel culture people and think they're doing something good. Oh, that bitch was stupid. I almost punched her in her face, but I'm not a violent person. But this motherfucker was super upset. Like, oh, black man in charge? I'm like, who the fuck is a black man in charge, motherfucker? I mean, I know my ex, he's now probably going to be serving life in Australia prison. I'm really upset about that. Being assumed as a kingpin when he is not. I mean, granted, he's not a kingpin of a drug lord thing. Maybe back in the day when he was in his enlightened years and in the gangs and shit, yes. He just knows old associations, and his old association and his old association's wife got us both into some fuck shit for some money. Granted, we're the dumbasses that did it. I get it. But life in prison, no. When people get a slap on the wrist here to bring drugs here, and you hire our people to basically be attorneys for overseas governments so they can learn how to fuck over Americans, I don't think we're the worst people in the world, even if we did get caught with $10 million worth of cocaine in our suitcase luggages. First off, I don't do cocaine. And when it comes to drugs and what I do know of drugs, what they have on the streets is way worse than actual cocaine. Fentanyl, fake meth, they don't even have the right drugs because the cops do hold the shit. They will freaking defund the police department so people don't get arrested. They will legalize the drugs in the town so they don't have to write the tickets. But then they will let fucktards be the freaking chemists that basically mix like something like bleach and Windex together and give to some dumb fuck to smoke, and they call it fentanyl. I think it's like an insurgent. It's just a word. And yes, you can make coke from cracking. The only people that can afford that much drugs is not me. I couldn't even afford one brick. I didn't even make enough to do the dumb shit. I didn't even get paid enough full amount for the job I did. So there's always a hustler. Now my best friend, I might never see again. I'm hoping and praying to God that this investigation isn't quite over yet, because he is now serving time in a country that isn't even our jurisdiction, because they let, well, however it worked, they obviously knew what was going on, because if they've been working on an operation, they make sure they set people where they want to, so they don't have to deal with it, because it will only cause repercussions for themselves, because they probably did some fuck shit for the investigation in the first place, which I'm quite sure of it. Especially when my old roommate, out of the blue, knowing like, oh, coincidentally, this little dirty old man wasn't going to get free work and hand jobs from his roommate, because I wasn't going to pay him money, because he still didn't pay me for the work I actually did do for his business that he never paid anybody for. Apparently it was a horrible idea, but my mom kicked me out. I was in a fucking shitty situation, even though I work harder than anybody the fuck I know. And I'm actually really good at like doing stuff. I'm not incapable. I'm not a fuck away, throwaway person. But I didn't know what a libertarian was. I also didn't know he was like I knew he was adopted, right? I didn't know what his like ethnicity was. He was adopted. His parents were little rich white people that I met in Susanville when I was 18 years old. I hung out with them for like maybe a year out of my life. I'm 41 years old right now. So when he called, like, we've been friends on Facebook, but we never hung out. He's got a dumbass fucking little girlfriend. Like, he's a lazy piece of shit now. Like, honestly, he's a piece of shit. I would have never fucking moved there if I even knew what the fuck a liberal was. And he was that. And it was that deep. Because I'm pretty sure he's an Uber. I wouldn't trust Uber drivers either. Wants to talk about, oh, well, yeah, I give hello politicians the right. I'm like, bitch, nobody's going to listen to you. Oh, no. No. He is an undercover fucking informant. The liberal kind, where they're trying to free you from any liberty that you just might have. He was totally down for like the fucking war, like almost being a civil war by the borders. I mean, like, he's like, I'm going to go down there. I'm like, what are you going to go down there and do? Just be a nuisance? You're a fucking idiot. You know, I'm like, you want a war? I'm like, first off, we need to work better with Mexicans. They ain't bad guys either. And this whole piece of land, it's all attached. How are you just, it's an imaginary fucking line. You can build a wall, but why would you separate something that we're attached to? It's like separating yourself from your cock. No, it's below the border. That's called abstinence for Jesus. And honestly, sex is actually really healthy for you in the right way. Like, you know, you shouldn't manipulate people with it, no. But it is good for you. It lowers stress. It keeps you young. It keeps your mind fresh. Like, sex isn't bad. Granted, yes, you can get energy strings if you're basically getting high and drinking all the time and just fucking anything and being fucking used. That's never good. At the same time, if you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. Don't demonize it. Call it what it is. You're either being fucking a little bit slutty, or you're letting yourself get used by fucktards because they basically stalk you for podcasts and they hack into people's data streams, get into their fucking hard drives, and find where their GPS is, and then like see if you're fuckable. And then keep sending their friends to come and like use you as a revolving door. So they get promoted. And people listen to their shows. How else do you think imaginary money gets built? It's not off of men actually doing work. It's off of men using women. As usual, that's how the country... It's no secret. I mean, you like to pretend it's not there, but it is. So that's what that is. And as a woman myself, that has no man, has no children, and probably will not have children in my lifetime, which I'm okay with, that might be me stopping generational curses from regenerating. I can take it as that because, you know, shit, my family's not perfect. We try, we're not horrible. We're sure the fuck not horrible. We're very creative people and we're very connected to the earth. Like, I know the earth is a woman. So when everybody's worried about the devil, you're worried about a bitch coming out of the ground, fucking scaring the fuck out of you. That's man's biggest fear. That's why, everything's so witch hunt. Donald Trump. The audacity of the words that come out of that dumb fucker's face as our president. Granted, he was a useful piece of shit. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, he kind of made us great again, but he did underhandedly backhand us, like backhanded compliment us, make us great again, so we can outsource our resources again. Instead of trying to build, I mean, we kind of built for us, but we only built for the elite or us. He gave away a few motherfuckers, like an Epstein and some shit, which is probably still alive, or he's dead, whatever. They could have killed him, but I doubt it. Rich people don't die. And when you're in that class and you're playing with like the world's funding, they don't see us as actual people. We are capital. We are what they have to trade as currency because money doesn't really exist anymore. We can't have any money and we can't trade ourselves, otherwise that's trafficking, but they can. And saying they're saving people. And the people that they usually take away might have been caught doing some fuck shit. But they were herded in that direction for a very long time. Like, honestly, I would have never done this, what I got caught for. Like, I didn't go out and look for the job. It found me. And it found me at a time where I needed money. You're fucking A-right. I do not want to be a homeless bitch on the streets today. When my family fucking throws me out for nothing after I fucking spent any money I had, they've drained all my resources. Have no problem doing it. They're doing it again right now. Even though I'm thankful to have a house to live in right now before I get kicked out without a job. I have like a month. I mean, I can get a job. It's not as easy to make a computer job as people think. Okay, you do have to know some stuff. And since the fact that I'm really not the biggest fan of all that, I get jacked. And I don't know enough. And anytime I've actually tried to fucking seek out assistance, I've been jacked. Or or the motherfucker was a married ass man, tried to fucking do a whole bunch of cocaine and fuck me. Because he worked for GoDaddy. He has his own podcast now too. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. If he didn't have money, but he's a light black skinned man of a white lady attorney. I mean, I met him in Vallejo. He's apparently from Canada. I mean, I have no problems with him. I think we're still on the same team because he's in an unhappy marriage. He likes his kids. At the same time, I wasn't trying to be a fucking adultering whore. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to do this for free just because, like, what? Your needs, like, he barely even wanted to pay me money. I'm like, well, we'll hang out and you can do, I gave him a clean. I did clean the orders one time. I don't think he was able to handle it because he almost got sick. Granted, he was super high on cocaine, so it probably wasn't the best idea that I tried to clean his chakras. But he accepted it. And that was the first time I was like, oh shit, I am powerful. I mean, I made it to the solar plexus chakra where it's all fucked up. Or in his heart chakra, it's like right in the middle. But you don't hear from those people. when you know they know what's already happened. I'm like, dude, well, Australia knows what happens. It might not have made it to an American news because they don't want America to riot or whatever. They don't want to explain how they got that information. Well, somebody either snitched, and they didn't even get the kingpin. The kingpin is a woman who has a lot of family connections. It's not my friend. It's not any of the people that are in jail right now. Those 3 girls really just wanted a fucking vacation and to travel the world. And they got fucking snitched on. I've probably snitched on myself for so many things before this. Like, I just might be a viable asset for the motherfuckers stealing your homes out from under your face, because I'm pretty sure my old roommate and his old girlfriend with her, she's a lawyer. She's working for the Air Force JAG system. I looked that up. Yeah. They are helping other countries find the loopholes in our government and law system. It's not for the Air Force, because it's actually one word. So it's a tricky way they put it. Like the United States, if the T is not capitalized on the United States, you're not talking about the United States. It's not the United States is the title of it is its title because it is a unique, one of a kind thing. When you see United States without the or the is a lowercase t, that's the municipal companies, corporate industries. That's the corporatized version of the United States. And being that my grandfather actually was in the Air Force, very, very, very smart man. So was my uncle, also very, very, very smart man. My other uncle actually did serve in the Navy, another very, very smart man, kind of a dick, but he's still alive. He's got a fucking bitchy ass fucking succubus wife with a fucking child and all this stuff. Yeah. He's almost basically just like my sister's dad. A douche with a dick. He used to be my favorite uncle before he got married. That bitch fucking turned him into abandon his family man. He didn't take his family with him when he went to her agenda. He used my mom as a babysitter and then talked shit about her. But my mom was drinking and stuff. But then, like, you left your kid with her. My mom's actually great with children, even if she was drinking. She's just very upset. She was. It's a lot to fucking take in. She didn't want to fucking live this life. She's at least sober now, and she's in her retirement years, and she sold me out, so it's okay. She's going to be fine. They were just going to torture her until they made me a weird energetical sacrifice is almost what it seems like. Because while I don't think I conform, I'm pretty fucking easily to work with. I mean, I do know right from wrong, and I don't like... I know I've done some fucked up shit, but not like that fucked up. And I know it was wrong, and, there's always, gray areas. I try not to be in the gray area so much, but I know they're there. And if I've had to kind of use a gray area, because there's no way you can be all the way perfect and succeed here. No fucking way. Whether you know it or not. No one's fucking perfect. No one's holier than thou. And no matter how divine you think you are and you want to make your little fucking videos, most of those people that you are making videos for are going to fuck somebody over today. Because they think they're righteous and that video is for them. So, I do like to watch tarot readings. I mean, it's not because I need the information. I just kind of like to see the energy waves of what's allowed on the internet right now. Or what the script is. Because, hold on, let me get these. Let me show you what a script is. more or less, better reading associates. See these things? There's like, this is from this is copyrighted in 1956, by the way, so it's old. I also got this when I was in Belmont. Man was a third-degree Mason that lived there, passed away sort of shit. But there's like numbers. Here's some sentences, and some of it's not all sentences. It starts out with different series. So these are basically words and series. They're like trigger words that get put into things that have a different meaning when you put it with a number, a series. Like when I did look up for it, I'm like, oh no, that's how they sell the 9mm, aka like our code words. So when you get your downloads, either in your brain or you see something downloaded onto your phone and you call it a premonition or some sort of psychic message, you guys are behind at least. At least when you get your downloads, I was 5 years ahead of you. A lot of the time. Most of this isn't about love. So, but there's a lot. Scripts. Okay? And now the people that were alive this long aren't alive. And they've just basically put the hard work into a computer system to write a fake script. Like AI. That's fine. And AI learns faster than humans. It's probably jumped some shit way quicker and like made a little... If it hasn't made a mess yet, oh, it's making a mess. I already know it's making a mess. I feel it every fucking day of some shit, because now people look, they want to learn about God, they Google it. AI is turned into a our Antichrist. The second coming of Christ came with Google. And people wanting to learn about God and this and that, and then there's cults and witches and this. They all want they want knowledge. They want to know the information about everything because they think they have a right to, and they kind of do. But the only way that you can actually hold all the knowledge that you go and look for through the hacking systems that you hack, you have no wisdom acquired, no experience in your life acquired to do anything actually positive with all the knowledge that you steal and take from people, except for how to make a fake person and then just get an insurance policy on the actual physical body and get a payout after you torture them and starve them to death. And then you open up a fucking coffee shop in their name. Usually that's for the Marines that they fucking torture that come home after fighting a fucking fake war somewhere else. It's sickening. So yeah, I do get fucking pissed off. And yeah, I would rather bring drugs to another fucking country than here. I mean, first off, the drugs here are crap anyway. It's easier to stay sober here. But if they can fucking sell tickets for people to come and rent a fucking Tesla and start running fucking homeless people or women or children over on vacation, I'd rather get those motherfuckers high as shit so they don't achieve anything in life. It's kind of how I saw it. Because, you know, the rich people are the only ones that can afford to do that shit. If you can teach the people not to do drugs, they're going to do them themselves because they are on them. They just have enough money and haven't been caught yet. Yeah, they'll use American people to fucking be their mules because we're disposable. They think we're all dumb. And we kind of are. I'm not going to lie. We're a little dumb. We don't have to be. And even if you do try and get smart, you're not getting smart for like a greater good. Usually it's like, oh, I'm so smart because I'm so rich and I have this and I have that. I don't like having a lot of stuff. I don't want to be famous ever. Except for just being stalked by freaking agents and shit. I'm like, dude, I can see you. Can't we just talk about it? Like, dude, we could have totally talked about it before that. But they didn't want to come at you in a way where they're not being sneaky. I'm like, dude, I would have fucking talked way before you had me in handcuffs. We could have did this a way better way. But no. You choose to take the opportunity to divide, separate, and send my best friend, who happens to be a black man, and 3 other black women to prison to serve a prison sentence in a different country to teach them a lesson. What lesson did they need to already learn? That they're fucked. We've learned that already. It's not that, oh, we're trying to get over on the government, or that this is and that is. Technically, we work more with you than without you. So, no. These are motherfuckers that have to struggle so much because the government glorifies fucktards for a race war that they made up just to keep everybody segregated and their control. And they get to make profits off of it. They got to keep the drugs that was probably already theirs, not pay the people that actually did the work, and then set up some other shit so they can have a crime family in America go down instead of most likely the Israeli crime market that was following me, didn't want a black man to be the leader, or the white man, our president's son. Like, what? Are you shitting me? First time I made the newspaper, I mean, my name didn't even get to make it, so that's kind of cool. They can place that with anybody, right? At least I wasn't shown being arrested in handcuffs in another country on their news. A sports reporter who followed that case and did that for Twitter. An Australian sports reporter. So are we not moving baseball for what we believe, or what? Or is it rugby now? What is sports really? And why do they get to pay the hell of money for this franchise? They're like actors too. Sports basically moves drugs, whether you know it or not. So do politicians, whether you know it or not. So it's basically a humongous regatta for the pharmaceutical companies, but in different sort of avenues of life, like the Paralympics, where you have people going to different countries for some shit in their law form. If you donate to enough nonprofits, yeah. Well, what is that? International Home Security has my phones and the videos I've made recently, so I'm sure, hopefully, they do more good than bad, and people actually get more justice than not. Because I know my research is not very freaking all that great. I'm not very much funded or have all the resources I need. This was just, this just happened to be right in front of my face. Right there. I mean, I know I work for either God or the devil. I'm pretty sure they work together, and sometimes I get intercepted in their phone call, I think it sounds like, a few times. I know when some other motherfuckers tried to fucking raise Kali Ma a few years ago, and that bitch came through me. Don't think she ain't here. I'm like, it's a channel. That was a really long 3 days. I had to move then too. It's right around New Year. Oh God. And my roommate that I was renting a room in Phoenicia, he died. He had a shitty ass caretaker. Oh my God, that was a whole bunch of things. I have mixed feelings about that too. That was fucking horrible. That poor man. I mean, he was cool. He was an alcoholic. But the dude he was also not all quite together. He was a handicapped man that got taken advantage of, had a really good fucking property value in this location where his house that he owned, that he inherited from his parents were. So I'm pretty sure most of his like cousins and shit that worked on the police department found some loser to be the manager for him so he can rent out a room while basically they fill him with alcohol and not give him his proper meds so he will die sooner. And then they can take that house and use it for a security house for a battered woman somewhere after they've already killed a fucking disabled man. With calculated precision, conspiracy, and scandal. And then just used his own fucking actions to make it look like it's no big deal. Sorry, Darren Menendez of Benicia. He was a very nice man. I mean, he had problems. He was a drunk, and I wouldn't fucking deal with this. But Bobby, his caretaker / manager, that also tried to get my mama's house. Will hopefully reap everything he sowed. I had to already do a fucking spiritual cleansing and make sure that man didn't get stuck in that house spiritually. Yeah, Bobby thought I was fucking weird. I'm like, oh no, motherfuckers, this is all part of something else. This is a little piece of a bigger piece. Because then the Kali Ma came through, which then and then there was this eclipse. I'm like, oh, fuck it. I don't intentionally mean to know this shit because I've never had time to focus and actually know what I'm supposed to know for the beings that I am. Being, not plural, one being. This soul in this skin suit has a purpose. I don't get paid for it. I get blocked from it, and I'm lucky as fuck to be here where I am right now. And it's still not that lucky. I mean, it is. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. I'm sure, because it comes in folds or waves. Like, here's one. Another. All right. But then when my old roommate decided to take some of these scripts and act like he didn't, because they were missing 4, I'm like, oh no. He was all for me fucking some shit up. But then once I found out who the fuck he was, oh, hell no. I wasn't trying to fuck something up. I was trying to figure something out why this fuck shit keeps following me. And I'm pretty sure it was him. He's the only person I've known for as long as I have that I haven't hung out with that stayed with me friends on Facebook and has been fucking stealing shit from people probably across America in my name or in somebody's name. Sarah Lowe, Chris Apps, ABTS, financial fucking advisors everywhere. His adopted family funded that. He has an adopted sister too. His parents never had kids. Look them up. ABTS. You won't see that fucking last name very much as a last name. It's usually an abbreviation for podcast somewhere. And he set me up in a trap house and snitched on me and my friends. After he wanted me to supply him with cocaine. And I would not. I'm like, no. I'm not doing that. I don't even know this shit. I can't even afford this stuff. I just need this so I can pay rent and not be tortured for at least a fucking year. It's a job. Well, I actually try and get my job set up. I don't mind being self-employed. I have very little overhead that I need to make myself to afford for my monthly living. I have no kids. And I basically just need a fucking studio. I'm fine. I don't want a mansion. And I'll never let my family live with me. Well, I mean, I would need a bigger house. But no, not my sister. She can't live with me. She just sucks energy. She's kind of a succubus water witch. Me, where I am a Libra-Taurus combo, Libra Moon, Taurus, or Libra Sun, Taurus Moon. I'm kind of airy, but very grounded. I'm also very fucking diplomatic, political, and like I can think. all about God and Jesus and prophecies, by the way. Sometimes you might have to be the God and Jesus of your life every once in a while.